Hello everybody and welcome back to Advanced Maths. Today we're going to be looking at the SUVAT equations. The SUVAT equations help us understand how things move in the universe. They relate displacement, initial velocity, final velocity, acceleration and time in 5 separate equations. The symbol we use for displacement is S, initial velocity is u, that means the velocity you start at the beginning of the time. The final velocity at the end of the time is v, acceleration is a, and t is time. They're measured in meters, meters per second per second, and seconds, and you need to remember the units in every question. Now, if you know the 3 of the values from this table, you can use the SUVAT equations to work out the other 2. For example, if you knew S, U and V, you can work out acceleration and time using the equations. The equations are V equals U plus AT, S equals U plus V over 2 times T, S equals UT plus half AT squared, S equals VT minus half AT squared, and V squared equals U squared plus 2AS. Now, let's look at an example. A car accelerates from 5 meters per second to 30 meters per second in 10 seconds. How far does it go in this time? So the first thing I do is draw out a table, and I fill in the table with the information I know. I know it starts at 5 meters per second, and I know it finishes at 30 meters per second. So I can find out initial velocity and final velocity. The question doesn't mention acceleration, so I put it in red. I don't care about it. The time is 10 seconds, and S is what I want to find. S is the displacement that I want to find. So, and now I want to select a SUVAT equation that works, that helps me find this out. So the way I do this is I highlight in green all the symbols I'm interested in. S, U, V and T are the ones I'm interested in, and I highlight in red the ones I'm not interested in. And here we are. And you can see the SUVAT equation that is all green is this one. So this is the one I select. We have S equals U plus V over 2 times T. I can substitute the numbers in, where U is 5, V is 13 and T is 10. And I type this into my calculator and I get S equals 90 meters. You can always use a calculator for SUVAT equations. You will always have a calculator on the exam. Okay? And we have the final answer. Do not forget your units, meters. Now, a pebble is dropped from a cliff. The pebble hits the ground at the bottom of the cliff with a velocity of 50 meters per second. How tall is the cliff? Well, there's 2 things we need to know here. The first thing is it's dropped. So it starts from rest at 0 meters per second, because when you drop something, it doesn't have an initial velocity. It just starts from 0. And the other thing is that gravity, when something falls under gravity, it falls with an acceleration of 9.81 meters per second. That is a really special number that you need to remember for your exam. Again, I fill in the table of values. I want to find S. I know U is 0. I know V is 50 meters per second. And I know the acceleration is 9.81 meters per second. And the SUVAT equation that has S, U, V and A is this one over here. All the rest have T's in them, and we want to ignore them. So we select this SUVAT, and we substitute in the numbers. V is 50, U is 0, A is 9.81. The 0 squared disappears, and I can divide now by the 2 times 9.81, because there's a times by 2 times 9.81, I divide. I type this into my calculator, and I get 127.4 meters, and that is the final answer. Okay, again, don't forget the units for M. So for a lot of SUVAT equations, you will probably have to do some rearranging using algebra. So you need to make sure you're happy with your rearranging. Now, finally, example 3. An eagle starts a dive at 4 meters per second and accelerates at 6 meters per second. How long will it take for the eagle to travel 175 meters, assuming constant acceleration? If we have S is 175 meters, U is 4 meters per second, V we don't care about, the question doesn't mention it and we're not given it, we don't want to find it out. A is 6 meters per second, and we want to find how long the time. How long means time. Okay. I highlight all S, U, A and T in green and V in red to select the information over here. And I select this one. This is the equation with the S, U, A and T. I substitute the numbers in. S is 175, U is 4, and A is 6. Half times 6 is 3, and we've simplified this. And I'm going to use the quadratic formula to solve this, because it's a quadratic. So the first thing I have to do is rearrange it to make it equal to 0, because it's a quadratic, and to solve quadratics I always make them equal to 0. I'm now going to put A is 3, B is 4 and C is minus 175 into this equation over here. If you don't remember how to use the quadratic formula, you need to go and watch my quadratic formula video now. And when you type that into the quadratic formula, you get two values. You get T equals 7 and T equals minus 8.33 seconds. Now only one of them makes sense. You cannot have a negative time. You cannot go backwards in time. So a negative time will mean going backwards in time. So the sensible option is a positive 7. And you would have to show that this is the correct one in the exam using common sense. Okay? Feel free to rewatch this video a few times and make sure you make some notes. You need to remember all 5 SUVAT equations, and you need to remember things like the acceleration due to gravity and the method of working it out. Make sure your presentation is nice as well. So for every question I would also recommend writing the table of values that you're given and showing your working out and your rearranging and then your final answer to ensure you get all the marks. For practice, I've got a table here and I've given you 3 values, S, U, V, and I want you to find A and T for the top row. For the next one, I've given you 3 values again, and you have to fill in the missing columns using the SUVAT equations. Be careful, take your time, and remember that you're going to have to do a lot of algebra and rearranging here. It will take you about 15 minutes to complete this, so pause the video, try it yourselves, and when you're ready, you can play and I'll reveal the answers in 3, 2, 1. Okay, how did you do? Did you get it right? Please let me know in the comments, and if you have any further questions, I'd love to hear. If you'd like another video on more SUVAT equations to see more examples, please also let me know in the comments. Have a good day, and thank you for watching Advanced Maths. Good luck in your exams.